Good afternoon, everybody. And firstly, thanks for joining this webinar on Way of Finish Line from the CDP perspective. As we all know, we are nearing the deadline very soon. 16th of September is the deadline for submissions. So we thought this is the right time to uh, give people a sneak peek into what our tool CDP AI Partner can do.
Is my screen visible now?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Good. So, see, as I said, like as Manish mentioned, we have two components to this particular, with respect, especially with respect to the CDP AI partner. The first primary interface is through the website, and then we have come up with a very unique value add proposal, which is a Chrome plugin which sits besides while along with the CDP portal while you are really filling up the submission. So I'll briefly walk you through the entire journey, how a user would work when he actually wants to start with this CDP AI partner. So again, as Manish mentioned, the approach which we take or the architecture which we have for our applications is building small utility tools, productivity tools, which could help users in their day-to-day operations. And that's where this CDP AI partner, which is the topic of discussion today, fits in. So once we start with this journey, I mean, we get into this CDP AI partner and do a one-time configuration. So primarily around this configuration, what kind of various activities which we do is the very basic operation, or when we do such an exercise, is generally is not an individual exercise but a team effort. Right. So as a very first step, you could invite other colleagues within your organization to come and collaborate with you on this particular single portal. So even if they don't have access to the CDP portal, still they can view the responses, still they can identify, look at the gaps and come up with the suggestions, innovative suggestions on how they could really bridge this gap. So you need not give access to the core CDP portal to everyone, but this also can be a another way to really look at the responses and things. Then the next step we get into is performing a one-time configuration. Okay, so the very first is the sector. This aligns with the CDP sector, like which CDP sector you fall in, and again under which you want to submit your disclosure. The next is the environment areas, which all environment areas. Not all organizations go for climate, water, forest, all three uh, scoring environment areas. So you can pick and choose basis what you are going for. Okay. And the very third important aspect which we have here is the setting up peers. Okay. So what we have tried to do here is look for identify publicly available CDP disclosures. Okay. And we are trying ingesting these publicly available disclosures onto the system. So how does it help you is now these are the 2025 disclosures. So while there is a difference between 25 and 26, still there are good number of common questions across these 2 years of disclosures. So these are readily available as a reference for you on how like these leaders have responded to a particular question. So basis your industry, basis your sector, you could identify which are the various which are the companies which have like disclosures publicly available, and you can pick them and configure them. In case some of the companies are not available and you want them to be added and the disclosures are publicly available, those as well, I mean, we could take them up and have them ingested into our system and make them available. Okay. And after you do the initial configuration, the next step we do is setting up the knowledge base. So see, what's the knowledge base is like, these are all the set of documents which you want the system to refer while it's assisting you to generate response. Okay. So this is again a one-time activity where you build the organization knowledge base. So generally what people upload here, it could be your sustainability reports. Um, it could be your BRSR reports, all those, like it could be your ESG handbooks. So all these are uploaded here so that you have the system has the latest information and knowledge available to really generate the responses. The other very important aspect which we have in the system is the KPI store. Okay. Okay, so this again is a one-time activity. So here, what you do is you build your like all we have mapped all the quantitative KPIs of CDP. This is over and above CDP, okay? But this is like again a one-time store where we manage all the KPIs for an organization. So we have our own ways. Here again, you need not update it manually, but we have systems to really extract the KPIs, calculate the KPIs as the case may be, and make it readily available. And finally, user can approve. And these are the set of KPIs which are readily available for use within the organization across all our action agents. So in addition to CDP, all other action agents have access to these such kinds of a KPI store. So if you see here, scope and emission is available now in my KPI store. So I need not search around into 20 documents to identify what are these values for the latest financial year and all. And these are available in this store and it's readily available for use. So this I have done my one time, I would say the configuration activity. And now we really get into filling up the questionnaire. Any questions so far? Okay, so I'll proceed. So see, now we are actually on the CDP portal. Okay, so I am on the CDP portal. Now we don't expect the users to be going across multiple web applications and all while they are really filing. So while the in the flow, they should be really doing all their activities, and that's where this CDP uh, AI plugin, a Chrome plugin, which is what we have developed, which comes in handy, which works as an assistant, which sits beside to you, which is available 24 by 7 while you are really filling up the responses for while you're filling up the CDP disclosure. So this is a very context aware kind of a application. So as you scroll, it will identify which question you are on, and it will automatically show up the details for that particular question. Okay. So say for example, I go on question number 2.2.2 or any. So for what are the core, I would say, sections as part of this? So the very first and the primary objective is like the scoring, and the score simulator is what we have. So if you see this question 2.2.2 is applicable for all three environment areas, and this particular organization is subscribed to all three environment areas. So here readily you get to see, you need not go across open any documents. You know very well this question is applicable to all three environment areas. You know all four scoring levels are applicable to this particular question, namely disclosure, awareness, management, leadership. You get to see what is the maximum score you can achieve, which is 8 in disclosure, 4 in awareness, 4.5 in management, 4 in leadership. So all this is information is readily available. You get to see the guidelines. These are all the CDP guidelines which have been published. They have been ingested. So you get to see those guidelines as well. So you can read, come up with your queries. Everything is readily available. You need not go anywhere else. The other important thing which we have is on the dependencies. So as we see in this CDP portal, there is dependencies across a question may be dependent on an answer on a very following module. Like taking this very case of 2.2.2, I have this dependent question section here. If I just open up, it says 2.2.2, especially for forest, is also dependent on the response of 8.2. See, you need not again like there are three different documents, climate, water, forest, which are like 400-page documents and all. It's very difficult for any user to understand and identify this kind of a dependency. But here it's very much on a, what do you say, on a click, it shows up that there is a dependencies. It also very well elaborates what this dependency is. So it very well speaks about certain selection in one of the columns of 8.2, which has to be selected so that you ensure you have a complete score in the forest level of question 2.2.2. So all this is readily available. And the last was on the peers. So what I showed up here, like, so we have configured three peers here, which is Acer, Alphabet, and Atos. So I want to see what Alphabet has answered on 2.2.2 in year 2025. So I get to see this answer. So while Alphabet may not be relevant to me, I will pick up the relevant leaders in my industry to see how they have been responding and what I can learn from their responses to ensure I get I like my company as well scores full. Okay, so this is one of the features which our customers really love it. Okay, so now we will go to the core of it, which is the scoring. Again, this is one of the feature where no platform today has a kind of a capability which this Reblue SustainSwift does, which instantly, even without submitting any response, it gives you a fair idea of how good is my score and where am I lacking. So I have before the demo itself, I have done this validation. So I'm on this 2.1. And if you see here, I'm not scoring full on the awareness criteria. So I just open up here. It says, okay, time horizons are not continuous. So it clearly in plain English, it tells to the user that the time horizon have to be continuous and there cannot be breaks here. So if you see here, 0 to 2, and then there's a break, and then there's 5 to 10, which is not acceptable as per the CDP criteria. So I just correct my answer and I just do a revalidate. So now once moment I click a revalidate, what it does is the system picks up this response from the CDP portal which you have submitted, is goes back to the documentation, identifies the gaps, comes up with the it does a two aspect primary two actions. One is the scoring complete and what are the kind of gaps and suggestions it has. So all that is combined together and a response is provided to the user side by side on the CDP plugin. Okay, this action takes a while. Okay, if you see, because we are scoring across three environment areas, we are picking up the information from one and then scoring it across climate, water, forest. Okay, see now since I have closed this gap, my score has gone full from 0 to 3. Okay, and there are no gaps now. So the answer is fully compliant. What this says is this answer is fully compliant to the CDP guidelines. Okay. One thing which we realized, it's very, what do you say, it's not user friendly to and it's not very good for the user to really make him click on every question, revalidate, which is very time consuming and which is not a natural way for users to answer. So what we have come up with is like the user can continue answering their questions in a flow one after the other. And then we have this modules section in our application, which is pretty handy. So you go there. So with this module, what happens is like you get a consolidated view across this question. So what a user can do is user can just answer all the questions one after the other in the portal, go on this module section and click revalidate and maybe go for a cup of coffee or something, and the system automatically picks up all the answers. Okay, and starts with the validation process. So depending on the number of questions this particular module has, like within a range of like it could be like from 5 minutes to 15 minutes, the system would be ready with all the responses and it will show up the gaps. Okay, so I have some gap in the management layer of question 2.2.2. Okay, so I can just click here. So even the plugin moves to 2.2.2, and it also scrolls the left side of my application, which is the CDP portal, and brings it to 2.2.2. So I have all my view in front of me to see, okay, why have I lost zero point 0.5 here? And I have all the details mentioned below. And then I can work on it, correct my answer, do whatever individually. So individually, I need not do, or maybe again in a bulk, I can again go back, I correct all my answers. I can either then revalidate one by one, or I can go to the modules section and do a complete revalidation again. So again, this has been like this very well appreciated by the users because this saves a lot of time. So I can do in bulk and then in one go, I get a complete analysis. So this is like a review of all my answers, scoring of all my answers and coming with on a plate like what are the gaps and where are the issues. Yeah. Any questions so far? Okay. So I'll proceed ahead. So here, as I said, while you're in the process of updating the responses, it keeps a tab of essential criteria side by side. So as we all know, like essential criteria are the questions for which the system or the organization may get deeply penalized. So we try to keep a track of whether all these essential criteria questions have been answered or not. And so this ideally the user should attempt to make this list completely empty and no questions remaining here. And then you are more or less sure that yes, the essential criteria questions have been taken off. Okay, so the other pain areas which our users were facing was on the descriptive responses, right? So CDP has a good number of questions where you have descriptive answers. uh, Again, for every descriptive answer, there are guidelines which need to adhere to so that we ensure the completeness of the response there. Okay. So, and as you remember, as part of the initial configuration process, we had created a knowledge base. So now the idea is using this particular knowledge base, we try to generate even the responses for the descriptive questions which exist in the portal. So as I'm in question number 2.2.2, if the system supports generation of descriptive answers, this particular SustainSwift icon would appear on your CDP portal itself. You just have to click this. Uh, what it does is it takes you to this particular response tab and it copies the answer which you have uh, which already exists. If there's no answer here, this would be empty. And then you just have to click a regenerate button. So the core object is it doesn't do any greenwashing. Basis the document set which you have uploaded and basis the guidelines which CDP has published, it will generate a response. It will adhere and honor the restrictions. Suppose CDP says that this response should not be more than 2000 characters. It will ensure that it doesn't exceed that limits. It will try to what do you say satisfy all the conditions which have been expected in the like which the CDP expects in the particular response, and it also shows up which particular what you say guidelines have been met. In case like certain guidelines are not met, in this case all the guidelines are met. uh, if they are not met, they will also appear in red. So these are in red because the system couldn't find suitable what you say artifacts adhering to these particular guidelines as well, and those and hence those are not met. So user can then again revisit the document and said user can again go through the response, enhance it the way it wants it. And then it just today we have just kept a copy paste function. You just copy here and paste here. Purposely, we don't want, we are not automatically copying the answers here. We want the user to really validate, ensure the correctness of it, and then manually paste the answers. But this assistant does all the what do you say the difficult task of really formulating the answers, ensuring the CDP guidelines, and with the source which the organization has provided at the time of configuration through variety of
Yeah,
documents.
yeah, Sachin, and also if you could go to the end of the screen in the plugin, it also shows the source of data
Yes.
from where it is
Yeah.
picking up
So as I said,
to
there's no
maintain a
greenwashing.
transparency.
Yeah. So it gives a complete control for the user. So there's an AI explainability to it. How have I arrived to this answer? So the system gives a very clear indication of from where these responses have been picked up. So I can just click on this and it will go up to that page number from where which was referred to this generate particular answer. So this must be anything like, so risk management 2.2 is about risk and everything. So it has picked this answer from the page number 2.2.2, page number 36 of the sustainability document. Okay. So yeah, any questions? Yeah. Okay. So I'll move ahead. So as we saw in the beginning, we have also configured the KPI store for this particular organization. So CDP is what do you say heavy also on the quantitative data. It expects the organization to fill a lot of it demands a lot of quantitative data, especially modules 7, 8, 9. They are all what do you say loaded with the questions in with respect to the quantitative data. So we saw here in the KPI store, we configured scope and emission data. I'm taking a very simple example of scope and emission, but you can populate to all complex use cases also. So now I need not, while I'm here, my agent is intelligent enough to show you the responses. I'll go to 7.6, which specifically talks about disclosing the scope and emission data. And I go to this response section. So 142,772 is what I have copied. So I see, okay, my repo also shows it 142,772. So this value, what I have entered is correct. And I need not, so I need not again go through Excel sheets, whether this Excel sheet is latest, blah, blah. All that verification happens one time and the data is available throughout. The other important aspect which CDP has is also cross-referencing of questions uh, across, right? So now let's take the case of question number 7.15.1. Okay, so I go to 7.15.1. Okay, so I'll go here. Okay, so it picks up the data for 7.15.1. So 7.15.1 also refers to scope and emission. 7.6 also refers to 7.50, like the scope and emissions. So CDP has in its systems all the checks and balances to ensure that the answers which you're putting in are uniform across and not like in one question you put something and the other question doesn't matches with that value. So say for example, 142 is the value. I don't put here 142, I put in 134 something. Okay, and I revalidate. So see, this our agent is intelligent enough to identify this particular dependencies and gaps, and very quickly show you that there is a kind of a mismatch, and which you will get penalized in the CDP scoring system. Okay, so this very intelligently is captured and showcased right here in the plugin. Okay, so now the plugin is picking up the data, it's doing a calculation, it checking, verifying the value against 7.6. It has also, if you see here, it is shown up that this is a dependent question. So this question 7.15.1 is dependent on 7.6, which we just saw. And now it is going through this analysis, and it has found that you will get penalized for in the awareness level of uh, the question 7.15, and it very clearly tells that scope and emission metric provided in table is 134 must match with the scope and emission reported in 7.6 with a maximum tolerance of 5%. So this is again as per the guidelines. So this is not something which the system puts in, but this is what is clearly being spelled out in the CDP documentation. So what CDP expects is in the range of 5 plus minus 5%. So moment I change this answer in that range, the and then revalidate, it clears off this error. And as I said again, you need not be doing why for the demo and for this piece. I'm doing revalidating question one after the other individually. But the modules tab is just fantastic. I mean, does the same job, and you need not sit and do this validation and revalidation for every question. It just picks up all the data one time, and then one after the other, it does starts doing the validations, and then you get a comprehensive, consolidated view of the responses in yeah, for that particular module. Yeah, Manish, you want me to add
Yeah.
anything on
Yeah,
the
yeah. This improvement of a module level scoring has been done based on the feedback received from the last year users.
yeah.
Because question by question was taking a lot of time, and that's where
Yeah,
we
module
thought, why
7
not?
especially is so comprehensive, I mean, which has like around 80, 90
Yeah,
questions. So it's very tedious.
yeah,
So it can
yeah.
very well be achieved using the module level functionality.
So
Uh,
what we are ensuring is not changing the natural course of your response, then doing a scoring at the module level and allowing you to navigate to a question where you have scored less from the module level scoring itself. So
yeah,
that's what we have achieved this time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Any questions? Okay. So now once you have done with this exercise, so most of this, as you see, like this agent is like a companion available 24/7 for you while you are really filling up the guidelines. And now the last part is also like is on the web portal. So while I fill up these answers, as we initially said, we have a collaborative dashboard as well available on the web to view these responses, and the users need not go uh, to the CDP portal again and again. So this is this analysis dashboard. So here, once you come in, and if there are any changes which you have done on the portal, you have to do a one-time activity of refreshing this portal. So under this refresh activity, it will just pick up the latest answers which have been published, and it will do a recalculation. It will do a recalculation of scores. So here, see, CDP has a very, again, a complex scoring mechanisms. So as Manish mentioned, there are like uh, each environment area has multiple categories. Then within the categories, like there are four levels: disclosure, awareness, management, leaderships. Then there's climate, water, forest, and then what score you get for a particular environment area, for a particular category, it gets rolls up, and then eventually at the end of it, you get a final score band, which is A, B, C. So all that is managed within this system. You need not worry about. You keep uh, answering to the questions and keep a tab on it, keep refreshing to see, has my score improved? What are the gaps? Where am I lacking? So leadership seem to be okay. Here something is wrong. So disclosure itself, uh, I'm not moving forward. So I need to do something to really see how I can move forward in disclosures to really move ahead on the answers. So now what it does is like it gives by category. So this the size of the box is basis the weightage for that particular category and what I have achieved in that. So say for example, I go to any question, any category, say governance. I click on it and I scroll below. So I get to see all the questions of governance. Now, I did not worry about how many questions are there in governance, which are those questions, where do they lie? See, they are all across the modules. They're well spread across. You can go and see, oh, okay, why am I scored 0 here? So 13.3. So I can go and read, okay, what's wrong in the disclosure? No completed cells found and all. So all these answers, you have been seeing in the plugin is available on the web. Very handy, easy to use for the user, and it also shows up like what is the weightage for management, what is the category weight. So everything is readily available for the users. So the people assisting you also can keep a tab without even going onto the CDP portal, trying to guide you where are the gaps and how you can really help uh, mitigate those issues and bring up the scores. And then this gets rolled up. This gets the final. It also shows up the tentative scores for that particular environment area uh, 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 for the organization. So this scoring is as per, see, every question is scored and every category is scored as per the guidelines which CDP has published. So every line of the guideline which CDP has published has been taken into account to give you a best possible representation of what is the score, what is the likely score which you are expected to get, one, and if you are not getting full, what are the gaps, and three, what actions you should be really taking to fill the gaps. So as a companion, I mean, it tries to help you in every possible way so that uh, this score finally within the data available for the organization is best utilized so that the score improves. Yeah, that's the overall objective with which this CDP AI partner runs. Yeah, again. So I have covered
Yeah.
most of the topics. Manish, you want to add anything here?
Yeah. No, I mean, see, the whole crux of it is the complexity comes from the multi-dimensional aspect of scoring. So the scoring is not an X and Y axis scoring. It is basically multi-dimensional disclosure, awareness, management leadership, then across categories, then categories again cascading into questions. So it's a multi-dimensional complexity that we have addressed to. Second point that I want to make is we are ensuring that there is no greenwashing in the process by adhering to a very controlled data environment, number one. Number two, a lot of times questions are asked around sustainability or use of AI and sustainability. So I would like to mention here that we have embedded the principles of responsible AI, where AI is not burning needlessly to generate any kind of outcome in the system. So that is the other thing that I would like to highlight. Any questions, please feel free to ask.
Another point which I just want to re-emphasize, which Manish anyway mentioned at the start of this presentation. See, as an organization, we have spent a lot of efforts with this disclosure. As Manish mentioned, we roughly what we have also seen with our customers is organizations spend around uh, at least 10 days per environment area. Now, the data, so there's a lot of information which gets generated out of this, right? So this information need not reside in a silo just within inside the CDP report. So once it's this in the system, what we have built is like a data spine at an organization level. So this becomes your knowledge repository. This becomes your information repository. This has all the KPI information with it. So tomorrow, when if you have any other similar questionnaire, say for example, there is a RFP response which you have, and the question matches to whatever, say 8.1.3 question of CDP. You need not again rephrase the response for that question. You'd readily get it, like the system knows like the perfect match, picks up the answer and provides it to you. So the repurposing of information which happens seamlessly in a most ideal and a perfect way. Or else, I mean, I'm sure like people would be doing it, but it's very tedious. Like CDP report itself is like 100-page report, identifying which question, whether the question really had any similarities in CDP is very difficult to do it manually. But with this system and with data spine in place and with our other action agents, this exercise become very natural. Okay, the response. So it's a one-time effort which the organization does for CDP. It helps the organizations beyond CDP as well. Yeah.
And many times we are asked this question that my rating is B or C, and will I improve to B by using your tool? No false promises. What we promise is we can help you create the best version of your disclosure. We can ensure that you don't miss out on anything. We can ensure that your data is accurate, up to date. We can tell you your score before you hit the button submit and let you know your rating. This is what we can promise. But if, I mean, the activities, the data is not supported for you to shift from a B to an A, it won't happen any which ways. But what we can only promise is creating, drafting the best version of your own disclosure. So just to sum up all the points, okay, what we essentially, one second, I don't know this is moving. Yeah. So basically, what we have tried to do is create some disruption in the CDP reporting, in the way the CDP reporting is done. So from a methodology of manual reading, we have moved to an AI generated sector specific because you have your peers beside you to get a peer benchmarking as well. So it becomes a very sector specific thing. No guesswork now because you're depending upon a controlled layer of documents, which is available in the repository to give you the response. Um, Teamwork, obviously, we have created features and functionalities to help you collaborate and allow others within the organization to have a look at what you have responded to, how this consolidated report looks like. Obviously, it is a cost-effective thing because we are bringing down the submission time and also giving you some business value in the form that we are creating the best disclosure, best version of your own disclosure. What we have tried to eliminate as bottlenecks is the guideline complexity. We are giving you contextual real-time guidance. If you look at the guidance documents, it runs into thousands of pages, hundreds of pages. You don't have to go to all of it. By clicking on the guidelines tab, you can actually look at a very précis form or a very paraphrase form of guidelines to help you with actionable intelligence. We have moved to response generation, AI-powered response generation, which helps you with qualitative and quantitative response because of the document repository, doc manager, and the KPI store that is kind of populated when you configure the agent. The scoring, we have been able to decode the very complex and comprehensive scoring methodology. In our language, we call it conversion of a non-deterministic uh, methodology into a deterministic one. That's how we have decoded the smart scoring simulation. So, and we can proudly say that there is not any other company globally who has kind of broken this code. We are able to give you a score even before you submit, which is basically the deal breaker for us. Um, Competitive tactics, obviously, you can get to know your peer, what they are responding to, what the best performance in the field are responding to by allowing yourself to upload your peer CDP reports. Uh, and obviously data fragmentation, we are trying to address that by giving you a collaboration kind of environment. And as Sachin also pointed out, that by disclosing CDP through this tool, what you're also doing is you're populating data in the backend to respond to other disclosures, to respond to other customer queries or any RFPs that you may need. This is what our previous year customers have to say who have improved their rating. And these are some known companies in India, Biocon and Wipro. Last year, the number that you see here, 10 and 20%, was because we were trying to score at a question by question level. But this year, since we have shifted to a module level, our beta testers say that the response time has reduced to almost 75% now. That's about it, what we wanted to showcase today. Open for questions, if any, or we can end this conversation.